Hello Sagittarius, Sagittarius Rising and Sagittarius Moon people. This is your monthly astrological horoscope for January 2017. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you are doing wonderfully. Quick reminder for you guys, January is the month that starts up the classes, and I've got the 3 tarot classes, the 3-part tarot course, the tarot tutorship up for enrollment now, and I've got a special Astrology Love webinar that you can register to join in. All of this is online. The Love webinar is going to be on karmic relationships, compatibility, and all that stuff, looking over astrology. We're going to look at dummy charts. It's going to be all kinds of fun. So if you want to do that, you can always follow the links below and reserve your spot at integrativemysticism.com. So, what is going on with your astrology this month? Sagittarius, January has a lot of leftover, and if you did see the live 2017 video that I did, which is like an hour and a half long, actually an hour and 45 minutes, talked a lot about this, and January is giving us a big taste of that. And we say leftover energy, it's good leftover energy. There's really nothing bad about it. And the big theme is the Saturn-Uranus trine going on between your sign and your 5th house of love and romance and your relationship with your children. And when we have Saturn and Uranus come together, it's all about bringing order to chaos. What has been too irregular? What has been too inconsistent? What has been maybe just a little bit too disorganized in these areas? When these planets link up happily, we get to retain that sense of independence, which we all need in our relationships, but also at the same time hold the strength. And there's a big focus on that this month. We also have this talking about reconciliations, all kinds of patching up, smoothing over any rough spots in relationships with partners and with children, and especially when it comes to children, because with Uranus in the 5th house, sometimes what can happen is we can find ourselves drifting from our children. We can find ourselves in a situation where we're at odds with our children, or even with our parents, because, you being the child in that relationship. But we have this strengthening of that bond going on at this time. I also like this angle for situations that need to be calmed down in new relationships or in budding relationships. If things have been hot and cold, a little bit too polar, a little bit too emotionally, we have this really smoothing things out. And not just in January, but it is the beginning. We also have Mercury retrograde at the start of the month, and it's all over the place. First, it starts off in your earned income sector, and if you recall the December horoscopes, you remember it's all about, trying to sift through some disorganized issues in the workplace with clients and customers, but also at the same time, even coworkers and authority figures can be a little bit weird. The nice thing about this is we've got old opportunities coming back. Whether this is a busy month because old regulars are coming back and they want to enlist your services, or even potentially old employers or old coworkers coming back with new job opportunities for you, possibly at a new business that they are working in or they have started themselves, or asking you to come back for a higher position and offering you a glittering, reference to do so. Again, the timing can be a little bit difficult to navigate in the first 2 weeks of the month because nothing stays consistent, nothing stays in order in this area of your life with Mercury retrograde there. But luckily, we get some breaks. As we get into about the 4th or the 5th of the month, we've got Mercury sliding back into Sagittarius, into your sign. And for a couple of days, you're going to have to go back and pick up something that you lost, something that you may have left behind. And this may be something that you have left behind, in your life in a metaphorical sense, whether it's an old connection, or maybe even pick up something that you've left behind that is actually of, minor or major value to you. Because it's so short, and I don't know how many of you have Sagittarius in your 1st house in your natal chart, this might not hit everybody, but I thought it was something very interesting and very unique that needed to be brought forward. Finally, as of the 8th, we've got Mercury turning direct, and it will stay direct for the rest of the month, and go back into Capricorn on the 12th. speeding up all developments and again making things a lot more crystallized and a lot more concrete when it comes to your finances and your work. And you're going to be noticing faster productivity and much easier opportunities to not only excel, but to complete any kind of assignments that you might need to get ahead of your year, or to meet quotas, or maybe even, just to simply drum up those extra opportunities for small chunks of money for small bits of work. We also have, early in the month, Venus moving into Sagittarius. Into Sagittarius. You are Sagittarius. Into Pisces, your 4th house of home and family, where she will stay throughout the entire month. And this is bringing a lot more focus to family. This is bringing a lot more focus to the home, but also bringing love into the home. And this is a time where a lot of Sagittarius people may be having those conversations about maybe finally moving in with a partner. If you have been dating for a while, or you've been in a relationship for a while, we're thinking about how do we find a way to move in. Between now and well into even February, a lot of Sagittarius people may even start cohabiting. This is also a good time because Mars in Pisces from mid-December all the way up until the end of this month has been causing some rifts in a lot of family dynamics for Sagittarius people. And I think that with Venus coming in to sort of soften the issue or soften the blow, make things a little bit more peaceful, people are going to be much more happy to reconnect, and you're going to be noticing much more enjoyable connections and more enjoyable experiences with your relatives. Lastly, on this note though, this is a good time for those of you who are looking to either A, sell a property, because Venus tends to tend to benefit the seller, but also those of you who are thinking to maybe finally have your partner or your significant other spend more time with your family if you feel like they've been distant or it's time to finally introduce. Mid-month, later on the month, on the 12th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Cancer, which is your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, your debts. And this is a time to think about maybe an investment that you had it's time to mature. Maybe it's time to start, selling off an asset or debt to get the best profit possible. Or on the debt side of things, we may be finding out that sometime between the 12th and the 24th of the month, we might be able to actually let go of a debt. Whether we have something written off, maybe you want to talk to somebody about renegotiating or appealing a charge, or even lowering our interest rates. This is a time to be paying attention to how much money is going out and how we can actually sort of bind up the hose line in that area, because we can start closing these things. We can start ending these things to make it easier on you and on your budget. I also like a full moon in the 8th house because it does bring, again, more intimacy, and we have such a heavy love focus for you Sagittarius people. Could be a couple of really hot dates between the 12th and the 15th. On the 19th of the month, we do have the Sun moving into Aquarius, into your 3rd house of communications, contracts, pacts, and promises, as well as your public speaking, being out in public. And this is a time where you may be noticing that your social life is becoming a lot more active, but also with the Sun being here, there's a great deal of focus on you updating your training. Maybe it's updating your vocational training so that you can progress further in your work, progress further in your company, or to update your training in an artistic or creative craft and make it ready to debut. Whenever the Sun is in either the 3rd house or, say the 9th house, but the Sun is in the 3rd house this month, we want to see, those of you who are publishers, those of you who are performing artists, those of you that need to be seen, those of you that want to debut your talents and your skills, really actually showcasing them, because this is one of the better times to be noticed. Whatever you want to put out there, again, whether you're a writer, a musician, an actor, putting yourself on display is always favored during this time. And it is perfectly safe to do so. Remember, Mercury will have been, direct for a while by this point in time. And this will be a trend that goes well into the 3rd week of February. On the 27th of the month, we have a new moon in this area, in Aquarius, and this new moon is very interesting because it gives you an opportunity to update I guess you could say, not only your reputation, but also focus a lot on updating who you're actually dealing with on a regular basis when it comes to people that you hire, people that work for you, whether or not these are folks who, maybe it's an accountant, maybe it's an attorney. Those of you who've been thinking about maybe changing a lawyer or changing real estate agents or hiring one, want to consider that during this time. But a new moon in the third house is also talking about, again, where are you actually showcasing your creative talents and abilities? You may also find a venue for that. You may even find that a skill of yours or a project of yours gets discovered at the end of this month by somebody fairly influential and somebody who may be able to actually help you get that show on the road in the right way. Finally, we've got Mars, planet of action and energy and conviction, moving into your 5th house of love and romance, into Aries on the 27th as well. And while most of its energy won't be felt until we get a little bit further into February, you can count on a lot more opportunities for you and your partner to start blending with friends more. Because when Mars is in the 5th house, we want to focus on the friend aspect. We want to make buddies out of our partner. No good being in a relationship with somebody we're not even friends with. And with Mars in the 5th house, you can actually notice that your partner wanting to, again, buddy up with you, wanting to spend more time with you on the things that you do to keep yourself busy, or the things that you normally end up doing by yourself or just with your friends because we never thought they were interested. But now we have more time to spend together, more time doing things constructive and bonding with one another as well. So that is your forecast, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com, same place you would go to get those classes registered. I'll talk to you later.